Hi there, Evan Bishop here of World Immigration to go through another video about the 407 training visa. The biggest question I get asked about this popular visa is if I'm suitable for it, and I want to go through with you today the viewer who might be looking to apply for the visa, the same eligibility questions I go through with a 407 visa consultation. So these are exactly the questions I ask, and you've got to ask yourself, once again as the viewer, answer these appropriately and honestly to yourself as a way of determining if the 407 training visa is something you should have on your radar. So first question I asked someone, I'm reading these out exactly as I have them, the proposed duration. So the visa can be granted up to 2 years in duration, but you've got to ask yourself how long the proposed training I have, how long realistically would it go for? So it might be only 6 months needed to enhance your skills, or a 3-month period needed to be able to register if that's the purpose it's for. So you've got to ask yourself, just because I can be granted the visa up to 2 years, what will be the actual period that will grant an approval? Next one is, what's the occupation that you're upskilling to? So a common one I have is maybe chefs that are getting upskilled to become a sous chef or a head chef. So you've got to ask yourself, will it be a new occupation that you're getting upskilled into? The next one, I asked, who is the trainer and what is their suitability to be a trainer? So someone's got to be training you in the business for the 407 training visa, but what's that person's suitability? If they've only got 2 months more experience than yourself and they've never really trained someone before, they're not really as suitable as someone who's got 20 years of experience in the industry. So when I say their qualifications and their experience, I mean not as a paid trainer or a facilitator, I mean as the person to mentor you and upskill you for that role. The next one I go through, what the salary will be. Think about this in advance, and it might be something you need to speak to with your employer or prospective employer. The next one is why the company is hiring this position and what will be the benefit to the company. So it's not just going to have a benefit to yourself that you're getting trained, but what benefit does the business get out of it? Is it that they get to retain a really good staff member in yourself? Is it a good way of, upskilling someone internally rather than hiring from external? But that's something that you definitely need to consider and hash out at the start. The next question I go to is that you look through the ANSCO code for your occupation and you look through exactly what details and dot points you're competent in and proficient in right now, and then you find out from looking at it, okay, which dot points am I not so proficient in, and those ones will become the crux of what you'll be trained into. You need to start thinking of these things now if you're thinking about being eligible for this visa. Next, you go through, what's the employer currently doing to train their staff, or is it just they're magically out of nowhere, never train anyone, but they're going to hire you on a training visa? So go through with the employer what they've done before. And next one, and I think it's very important as well, is has that employer ever had an Australian citizen or permanent resident in that occupation, or of the potential traineeship that you're doing? Has there ever been an Australian citizen or resident doing that? So that's something as well that needs to be highlighted in the application. And when you're going through, and it might be that you're just looking because you're eligible for a 407 visa. And I've done a video on this before. Just because you're eligible doesn't mean that it would get approved. You need to look at these training circumstances, and as you can see, majority of them are on the business as well, not just yourself as a potential trainee. So ask those questions of yourself, ask those questions of an employer, and if you think there's definitely still an opportunity there for a 407 training visa for you, please get in contact with me. Thank you for watching.